I'm Dr. Jennifer Lagrotte. I have a doctorate in marriage and family therapy, and I'm licensed in mental health counseling, and I'm licensed in marriage and family therapy. I went to school at Nova and undergraduate at UF, and then I've been working for about 15 years in the field, but I did my dissertation on couples, and that's pretty much where my focus is, on couples. So let's get started. Relationships.
For all the other people that are
Okay, we're just going to go over the first one again for your benefit. No one else. If anyone else comes in, that's it. Okay? How do you know it's time to work on your relationship? Are you fighting more than talking? And actually, if you remind me about that later, when you're actually fighting, it means your relationship's healthy. When you stop fighting, that's when things get into a lot of trouble. Do you feel that you're just parents? All you talk about is your kids? Or are you a couple? A lot of times when we're parents, we lose that couple, and we definitely lose that individual. Do you miss your partner when they're away? Or are you happy that you have the house to yourself? Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's okay. All the time, not so okay. Are you still having conversations with your partner that don't involve the children? Can you eat a dinner without talking about the kids? That's a big one. Do you find that things are harder when your partner's around? Do you wish that they just weren't there, that you can just take care of things easier yourself? Might be a little problem. Do you feel your partner just never listens to you? Do you feel that you're just walking there and it just never happens? Okay, what can you do to help your relationship at home? Because that's where it starts. You can talk to your friends, you can do this, but if you're going to make a relationship work, it's got to come from at home. Date night. Date night means date night. It means going out, having a good time, no phones. You don't have your phone, right? This is the big one. This is the really big one. You turn your phone off. No distractions, no kids. If you can't go out to do it at home. One partner makes up one thing, one partner makes up something. Do it interesting. Have a nice dinner, do couples massages, do candlelight, whatever. You need to do something to reconnect. Without the children, you need to send them to bed. I know parents have a problem with bedtime sometimes. Date night, they need to go to bed early. Check in with each other throughout the day. This is important. Sometimes there's so much stuff going on throughout the day, you can just tell your partner you love them. You know, it's nice. It makes me smile when I hear that. You know, life is so crazy, and then you get that little "I love you," and it helps. Always make sure that they know that you care. You know, sometimes you think you're saying it and you think you're doing it, but we run into a problem sometimes where people don't always communicate how they care the same way. So you think you're saying it, but the other person is not receiving it. The other person has to truly understand that you do care. You know, I mean, buying flowers is one way of showing that you care, but if your wife is allergic to flowers and every time you buy them it causes an allergic reaction, that's not showing how you care. But that's going to cause an argument because you're doing something that you think is really, really nice and they don't. So when you're showing that you care, you really have to make sure that you do what the other person will appreciate. Okay? Have therapy talks at home. Okay, not everyone can go to therapy, not everyone wants to go to therapy, but everyone needs to work on their relationship all the time. Okay, once a week, if you can't do it once a week, that's fine, whenever. Sit down, once again, no phones, no distractions. You talk about your relationship, you talk about what you like, you talk about what you don't like. I am what you call a solution-focused therapist. I'm very positive. I'd much rather talk about the things that you like in your relationship than the things that you don't, because you always like something, and then you go from there. Sit down with your partner and talk about your relationship, what you like, dislike, and how to change. Always use I statements, okay? I don't care how long you're together. I don't care how long you're married. When you start putting words in someone else's mouth, that is an immediate reaction for an argument right there. I feel that you are ignoring me. I feel that you don't listen to me. I feel that I take care of the kids more than you do. I feel, this. It's a little word, but it really means a lot. And the example I have here is, I feel hurt when you do not listen to me. Okay, does that make sense? Does everyone do that when they talk about it? No? But you're just doing it right there. You're putting words in his mouth. Right? When we assume, we get into trouble. You just did it. That's the thing, that's one of the big differences about actually going to see a therapist than talking to your friends, because a therapist is neutral. There's no friendship, there's no anything. A therapist sees both sides, and both people in a relationship are right. It's about 50-50, and it's about compromise. Okay, how to fight fair. Okay? You know how we put our children into timeout? We need to be calm, cool, and collective when we have this argument. How often does that happen? When we are angry, we say things that are very hurtful, and you remember them. Calm down before you do it. Do not bring the kitchen sink into the argument. Does anyone know what I mean about that? What do I mean, Jen?
Bringing up everything from the past, every problem, every fight, every issue.
Why do you think we do that?
Just in case they forgot.
What's resolved? If you know what, if you're working on your relationship at home, then you won't have to bring the kitchen sink. But if you're never working on your relationship, and all of a sudden you get into an argument, well, you did this 2 weeks ago. What? What did I do? How am I supposed to remember what I did 2 weeks ago? You're arguing about something completely different than what you were arguing about, and then you're so confused and you're so angry that it just doesn't make sense. You need to argue about what's right there.
Focus on the past so much instead of the present and the future.
Right. Which is really hard to do, because sometimes when an argument comes up, it reminds you of all the other things that person did that upsets you, because it's not resolved. But every couple has arguments. Every couple has their issues. It's just what we do. Make sure, this same thing, make sure you both know what you're arguing about. Okay? If you go off on a tangent about something that happened 2 weeks ago, it's just not productive. This is, when I was in school, one of my first experiences as a therapist, this couple came in because the husband ordered anchovies on the pizza. Whoever, and ever since then, I say this, Whoever really fights about the pizza, who really cares about which toppings are on a pizza? You know, but that's the breaking point. You're angry, you're upset, you're not communicating, you're not talking, and all of a sudden somebody orders anchovies. And that just does it. It blows up every little thing that you're angry about. So it's never about the pizza. It's about something else. Okay, what happens when one partner needs space and one partner wants to talk about things immediately? What do you do then? How do you handle that? Does that happen to anyone? Yeah, who needs space? You need space? You need your cave?
Yes.
Yeah? So how does that, and do you get angrier and angrier and angrier?
Yeah, but then I realize, well, let me just let him cool down.
Do you let him cool down? And then after you're cooled down, do you go to her and say, okay, I'm ready to talk? Yeah? Okay. So you guys have that worked out?
Really
Okay.
hard way.
Right. It's only a problem if it's a problem.
Right.
You know, I mean,
we figured it out the way, you know, communication is the key. If we don't communicate, we're just going to keep going back and forth.
right.
And it's never going to get solved.
You come on up here. Exactly.
You could say I'm like a training director, so I
Uh-huh.
can get the feeling.
Right.
What you're saying, so I see it both ways, you know, and I kind of I observe. So
Right.
when I observe things, you know, is where we sit down and say, hey, look, the way that we're approaching things is not the right way. Let's try to approach it this way, see how it turns out.
Right.
You know, so we find alternatives and see where it benefits each other. So,
And does that work?
yeah.
Yeah.
Working.
Good. I'm going to say this again, like you almost just said. Always use I statements. Say what you mean from your own perspective, and do not use words for your partner. Make sure you're listening and not just trying to get your point across. Okay? When you're arguing and you're upset, you say something, he says something, you say something, he says something, you say, and no one's listening. Okay? When you're angry, it's really hard to listen. You just want to say, and you're talking over each other. That's where the whole calm down part happens. You need to listen in an argument to fight fair. Don't talk over each other, even if it's frustrating to hear what your partner is saying. And if you need to, table the discussion until your tempers are calmed down. Okay? I know a lot of people have this assumption that you should never go to bed angry. I'm sure you guys have heard that. I don't find that very realistic. People need to go to bed angry. It sometimes happens, but that doesn't mean that that life is gonna fall apart tomorrow because you still love each other. But going to bed angry sometimes has to happen. I know, not many people say that, but it's a reality. Okay, how to keep the romance going. Always sleep in the same room. When you sleep in separate beds, you separate. I am going to coin that phrase because I fully believe in it. Someone always wants to sleep in another room. They just want to get away. That's not going to solve the problem because you know what? Even if you're angry with each other, there's a possibility that you could be touching throughout the night and something can happen that when you wake up in the morning, things could be better. Try to go to bed at the same time. Now I know this is really hard for everyone, but if there's going to be any romance in your life, it's going to usually happen at night. If you don't go to bed, if someone stays up on the computer or someone stays up late and watches TV, well then maybe you need to compromise and say, okay, one night a week we should go to bed together. Maybe that could be your date night that you do. But at least one night a week you should go to bed at the same time. I'm a big believer in keeping distractions to a minimum in the bedroom. You know, I read before I go to bed. You know, that's my thing. That's relaxes me. You know, but no TV, no iPad, definitely no phones. You know, everyone's different. Some people need to sleep with noise. Some people don't need to sleep with noise. But that bedroom is supposed to be for you. It's supposed to be, your couple is supposed to be the place where you can be a couple, because outside it's crazy. Life is crazy. So your bedroom is where you're supposed to be a couple. So it would help if there was minimal distractions there. Date night. Keep on mentioning this one. I even wrote that because I knew I was going to say it. It is so important, even if you don't think it is, just to go out for an hour. You know, I came up with this idea, which I haven't even implemented yet, but having couples swap. If you don't have a babysitter and you need to go out, we'll find another couple that has kids your age, offer to watch their kids, then you can go out, and then you watch their kids and they can go out. You know, there's always a way to do it. You know, I mean, I know paying a babysitter and I know doing all that stuff is a lot. So if that's not even an option, do it at home. Show affection. See? Show affection. You two, not showing affection. You two, showing affection. Okay? But I have to say that you're mirroring each other by sitting the same way. So that's actually a really good thing. You're both sitting the same exact way. And that happens a lot in the therapy room where couples will, even if they're mad at each other, they'll sit the same way. And I know that they have a bond. If you can take time for yourself without your partner or your spouse, do it, because it will make you appreciate them so much more. If it's kids, if it's extended families, break it up, take one, take the other, do it. But when then you come back together, you can be more of a couple. It is sometimes nice to take a break from your partner in a good way. Get some time for yourself. Now, if it's always the one person taking time, it has to be equal. Communicate. I don't care if you think that what you are going to say is the silliest thing in the whole world. Tell them. Let them know. Talk, 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 and talk. It's what was the statistic? I think 90% of arguments come from miscommunication. That's it. It's because we don't talk. We think we know, we assume we're doing what we're doing, and it falls to pieces. Talk, 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 talk. Keep things interesting. Surprise each other every once in a while. I mean, marriages don't just last. I give this example all the time. You know, you go to work, you have all these deadlines, these approvals, you get reviewed. You don't for a marriage. There's no review. If you don't work on it, it dies. Keep things interesting. Hold hands, kiss, make things interesting. You know, surprise your partner every once in a while. Do it. And the most important thing, at least in my opinion, be supportive. You want your partner to tell you everything. You want to be there for them. You want them to say, hey, this really great thing happened. I want to tell my wife. The first person I want to call is my wife or my husband. When you start having really good things happen to you and you think of someone else to call first, that's a warning sign. That's a really big warning sign, because if you tell your partner something and they don't give you the support that you need, you're going to not want to talk to them anymore. You know, if something really big happened at work or something really bad happened and you really want to talk about it, Okay, and your partner, let's say you come home and it's bedtime and things are crazy, blah, 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 blah. You need to let your partner know, hey, this happened. I really want to tell you about it. Okay, how about we just put the kids to bed and then we can talk about it. Communicate, okay? But people feel so let off because they're like, oh, okay, well, I'm not important. I don't belong. All right, I'll go tell my buddy. Well, you know what? Sometimes that buddy turns into another buddy and then another buddy. And then you come to me, which is unfortunate because people go to therapy way too late. When do you guys think it's a good time to go to therapy? You don't know?
I think you can go to therapy when relationships healthy.
I think so too. But do people do that?
We did.
Yeah? People come to therapy after one partner either cheats or one partner says, I want a divorce, or one partner says, I want out, I'm not happy. Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? There was what's going on? Okay, there was all these warning signs. People come to therapy way too late. My thing is I think that everyone should go to therapy at least once a year. Few sessions, once a year, just to work on your relationship. Talk about things in a neutral setting and then go from there. But that's me. I see how it works and how it doesn't work. Okay, I'm open for questions. Give me some. Well, I figured it all out for you guys. Woohoo! No, do you guys have any questions?
I like the idea just of not having a cell phone on date night.
I
Yeah.
agree with you on that.
It's good.
Or even if like the kids are sleeping and you have that one moment that you can actually interact with each other.
How old are your kids?
Our daughter is actually 14 months.
Okay.
What, 14.
Okay. So things are pretty hectic at home right now.
Getting
Yeah.
used to that.
Yeah. And you're both working?
Yes.
Okay. And does someone watch her or does she go to daycare? Someone watches her. Okay. So how do you guys find time for yourselves?
The weekends.
Weekends, because he works late, and then I'm home. I get home pretty late, and by the time I get the baby ready, I'm exhausted. I'm so refreshed.
Mm-hmm. So you two spend alone time on the weekends?
Somewhat.
Occasionally, yeah, you can say like here and there. Because the thing is like, her and I, we have this issue of leaving our daughter with somebody,
Yeah.
Understandable.
She doesn't really have that much family here, I do.
Right.
But most of the times they're either working or they're just about their business.
Okay.
But we do find the time where we can say, hey, can you watch our daughter for, a couple hours, maybe an hour or two. We've managed that.
Right.
So, but we try to find a time when our daughter's sleeping that, we interact, whether it's I'm still at work or whether it's I'm home and I'm still working, but we still manage to do that. I mean, I even had her do some of my work, and I just
There you go.
Yeah, me working.
There you go.
So,
Nice. What do you guys think that your number one argument is?
I would say communication.
Communication? I thought communication wasn't a
I
problem.
wouldn't say too much communication. I would show more affection.
Okay. So you guys are disagreeing about what your major argument is.
The communication is there. It's more the affection. I guess you could say, when somebody comes home showing affection, oh, hey, I missed you today, or you know, the concept of holding hands, you know, while you're being in public, or, you know, or just even while sitting on the couch, just, you know.
Did that change a lot
Yes.
when you had your daughter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now you guys, your kids are a little older, so have things gotten calmer for you?
Well, I mean, our kids are almost 4, almost 5, and 7,
Right,
so.
Kind of like
right.
a Category 5 hurricane.
Right.
but we-
How long were you married before you guys had kids?
We got pregnant 6 months after our honeymoon.
No, like a year after.
No, I got pregnant like 6 months. We got Alexis like over a year.
So you never really had you never
We
really
lived
had
together for
couple.
like a year and a half before, whatever.
Okay, but so you mostly became parents
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that affected your relationship at all?
Charlotte, we can't get rid of him now.
Yeah. Are you waiting? Are you waiting to the time where you can have a relationship?
Yeah, I mean, you know, since we had Max, we've had a nanny who's lived with us, but she's actually leaving on Saturday.
Oh,
So, yeah, we're enjoying, this is one of our last few nights out
This is
before.
date night.
there you go.
So I'm just hoping that we don't kill each other once she's gone.
Right,
We've gotten used to, we've, you know, been doing date nights and,
right. Yeah, no, it definitely helps when you have help.
yeah.
What would
She's
you,
leaving now.
nice. What would you guys say your number one argument is?
Probably,
I don't know, there's a lot of arguments. We have very volatile, you know, everyone in my family has a very volatile temper.
So,
So it doesn't take much to.
you're loud.
I beg for a lot of sex.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Amen to that one.
No, that's part of it. That's the
Yeah.
What's one reoccurring one? Hi. Come on in.
What else?
Yeah, you guys came just at a good time.
Really?
Oh yeah, just questions right now. I'm Jennifer.
How you doing, Justin?
Hi. Hi.
I don't know, there's not one like recurring.
No reoccurring. Kids, no. Relationship, no. Sex, no.
Yeah, well, he said he begs me for sex.
Right. So do you guys know what the 3 major arguments are in relationships?
Sex, money.
Sex and kids.
Yeah. Those 3.
Sex, kids,
Sex, money, and kids.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, right. Makes
Right.
sense.
Extended family can be high up there
Okay, that
too.
used to be our things.
Wait, by extended family, you mean like
Mothers,
Oh,
mother-in-laws,
Got you.
you know, anybody that tries to say what's what in your relationship,
I hear you. Yeah.
that knows better than you. Kids are kind of off limits. We can't blame them for anything. Do you guys have children?
Yeah, an
Okay.
8-month-old.
Okay. Well, congratulations. So you have no life.
No, I don't know.
Okay. How are you two getting along?
We have our moments. There's times where I can't stand him. I'm pretty sure he can't stand me. But we work through it, I guess.
How do
So
you?
that's why we're here.
This time, when I wake up in the morning and I have bruises that I didn't have when I was
Right, there you go.
I guess that's her in the middle of the night, just taking her anger out.
I did that once during my pregnancy. It was an accident though, right?
Well, it's like if I'm waking up at night and then I get to bed to go back to sleep after feeding, and then I hear him snoring, I just want to.
Yeah, I know that.
Right?
I know. We have the monitor argument all the time. He can't hear it for the life of him, and the minute one of those children stirs.
Move, like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. See,
So-
I'm like that.
You're like that?
Hear it?
I can hear the streets, I can hear somebody, whether they're yelling or anything, I can hear it.
Okay, let me rephrase that though. I have a severe hearing problem. He doesn't. I don't wear my hearing aids at night. I still hear everything, and he doesn't.
We don't use monitors. I haven't used a monitor.
You can hear?
I hear everything.
You
He
just-
doesn't hear anything.
You know, it's just you're just in tune to it. I don't know. For some reason, I wake up, and I just hear.
See, sometimes I gotta fake it. I gotta act like I'm continue sleeping,
Yeah.
so she can get up.
Yeah, right.
Smart woman, I should do that one.
Are you nursing or
I'm not
in for?
nursing now,
Okay.
And she's still not sleeping through the night, so
Okay.
I have like the video monitor, and it's literally like in between both of our ears, so you know one of us should be able to hear it. It's on him, but
Right. Yeah. Well, sleep deprivation can really
Yeah, I
do
feel like I'm more like-
numbers.
Yeah, I think that's like the biggest problem that we have. because
Sleep
of the fact,
deprivation.
When you don't sleep, you tend to act a lot differently than you would as if you were to get rest, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably where the moods come from, the moodiness and all
yeah,
that
I'm like
stuff.
more snappy. If I have a good night, I'm like more happier and like I can like deal with it. But
Right.
if I haven't, I'm like snappy, just
No.
working it all the time.
Yeah. Well. Okay. So we have 8 months. We have 14 months, and we have 4, 6, and 7.
4,
How old is
4,
Max?
5, 7. Max will be 4 in a few months.
Right. Okay.
3, 4, and 7.
Okay. So, as far as parenting goes, that stress never goes away. It just changes. You know, you start sleeping through the night, but then they start teething. You know, and then it's something else. It's something else. So when I hear couples sometimes tell me, "Oh, I'm just going to table my relationship for a few years." Oh, don't do that. because they can tell you the stress of parenting is always there. Once they're yours, it's always there. So you always need to still work on your relationship, even though it's hard. Now you guys are in that really hard zone, the not sleeping zone. You know, so things are even harder. But you need to realize that your relationship happens. Do you have family? Do you have someone to help?
We do, yeah. We do actually have a lot of help. Not at night, but while we're working. And if one day we wanted to go out, we have someone to take care of.
Right. Okay. So does that?
The date night thing is not such a big thing for us. It's more
Sleep.
Yeah, sleep. And then like I'm too tired to like do stuff and
Right.
be with them. Yeah.
Right. Well.
It all comes down to that. Like honestly, like it really comes down to the baby and how the night goes. That's what it really comes down to. That night determines how that morning and the rest of that day is gonna go.
Right. Well, do you feel that the baby has replaced you?
No, I don't feel that she's, well, I always tell her that I feel like she pays a lot more attention to being a mom than she does not that she's not a bad wife, but she's just she's a great mom. She's always like the baby. Sometimes the human side of you is like, hey, like I'm here too, but I don't get like upset about that because I know that she, I like watching her with the baby. Like it's
Well, then I'm gonna give you a little tip, okay? She is so into being mom right now. You need to be more responsible for the relationship. You need to pull her away every once in a while and say, "Hey, pull back." That's how couples work. Because if you just let her do that and you're watching from the outside, things aren't gonna go smoothly. You're gonna just start arguing a little bit more. So take on that role, okay?
I
She's,
learned that.
yeah.
I learned that because I used to see her always with the baby, and I took over as well and started assisting her. But now my daughter just will not let me go for nothing.
Right. It's hard.
Daddy now.
Now she just wants to be with me, doesn't want to be with her mom. Her mom gets upset now because she's over with me. So
It's very challenging. Very
Now, when
challenging.
you say pull her away, like how? What do you mean by that, or how do I go? What are the steps that I take to go about pulling her away?
Oh, do you wanna answer that?
yeah, I mean, just like you see her interacting with the baby as much and, you know, doing everything for the baby. I mean, I'm not telling you to breastfeed, but, you know, just
Yeah,
take over.
that's in 20 years.
Take your daughter and say, hey, babe, go rest. Go take a nap. Get
Okay.
some rest done, you know?
I do that. Like now, I will
Okay.
do that. But I always, somehow, some way, I get overpowered. And I don't like, I'd rather not argue. So like after a while, after so much of hearing, no, I got it, no, I got it, no, I got it, after a while, I let her have it.
Right, but you know what? Then eventually she's going to come back at you and say, "Well, you're not helping. You're not contributing. Why aren't you doing this? You know, you don't support me. You guys miss my be supportive
But see,
talk."
There's a difference with saying and doing it. You know, you can go ahead and say it. She's gonna go ahead and say, "Don't worry, I got it." She tells me the same thing all the time.
Okay.
I still do
You-
whether she gets upset or not. At the end of the day, it's gonna benefit her, and she's gonna be happy at the end of the day because she got the rest, and she saw you took charge
That
without.
makes sense.
Right.
You know.
And also, like, I feel like, you know, he would get upset, like, when they were babies, you know, if I would say, like, no, do it this way or do it that way. So it got to the point, I mean, I had 3 little babies at once. I was like, you know what, let him do it however he wants. I don't really care as long as somebody's doing it.
Right.
I think that was a little bit better than, you know, feeling like critiqued all the
Right,
time.
I do that to him. I'm like, no, do it like this, or, you know, I do it like this, or be careful with her. Like, I get so,
No.
I'm really controlling. I could admit I'm very controlling. Before Savannah and now.
You're a mom.
Yeah, no, but even before I was
I know,
in
but
a relationship, I was like,
Are you controlling? Do you
I'm
want it the way it
controlling, but
is?
He's controlling too.
Right.
I'm controlling him.
Are you? Do you want it that way? It's
I think it's a mutual.
it's a mom thing.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's your world. You want the best for your child. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and you think that you can do that. But if you don't let your partner do it, and it does take practice. It doesn't just
Something that
happen.
He says to me, he's like, Jen, I love them as much as you do. You know, so I'm like, okay. Even though, you know, like I watch, you know, I'm much more nervous, but
Right.
you know, I have to think that, okay, you know.
It takes practice. It takes maybe even having more than one kid.
no, I'm right now, I'm good with one.
It might, but
If you guys want more, I got some more.
Let me tell you, I thought she was gonna have twins. I was about to say, like, I only ordered
your partner is not ever gonna do things the same way you are. That's why you picked them. That's why you married them. No matter how alike you are, you're not the same. You're not going to communicate the same. You're not going to parent the same, and that's why you're always going to fight too. But if you fight as much as you work on your relationship, then you'll be okay. But all the things that you guys are experiencing, they're normal. Everyone goes through them. It's just how many people get out the other side. There's another statistic that, 60% of couples divorce before their kids are 7, because those toddler years are tough.
They're tough, yeah.
I couldn't get out of my house. I had 2 babies crying hysterically, "Mommy, Mom, I'm trying to get ready to come here to do this to you." It broke my heart I had to let them go, let someone else deal with them, and get ready. As a mom, that's sometimes what you have to do. It's tough. And the only good answer I have for that is that you have to have faith in your partner. You love them, you trust them, you have to have faith in them. It's tough. I know. You're like, oh God, no, no, I can't let up that control. I know. But you know what? We can't do it all.
Yeah.
But I mean, why do we get married?
There's a 50-50.
Why do we get married? Can anyone answer that?
So we can torture each other forever.
Right? There's no death do us part in this room. It is forever. Okay. Does anyone else have something for me? Because I know if I ask another question, you guys will just go on. Does anyone have a question? ahead.
No?
I'm all ears.
How do you two show each other that you love each other? What do you do?
I'm a lot more affectionate than she is. Like I'm very
Okay.
affectionate. That's just how I am.
I can see that.
Yeah, I'm very affectionate. I've always been that way.
Sorry,
Even sometimes.
I'm a therapist. I notice things.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm
so-
a lot more affectionate than she is. I bring it to her attention, sometimes when I feel like I have to. But, I've come to grips with the fact that she's not so affectionate sometimes, and that's okay with
Okay.
me now. It wasn't before, but now I'm okay with it because I've learned to accept that.
I
Okay,
feel
are-
like I'm like that with everyone though. Like,
But are
since
you
I'm-
affectionate in different ways, not physically?
Like I like to cater to him, like if he needs something or anything. But as far as like physically,
Mhm.
like hugging and kissing randomly, like I'm not
Right.
too much like that. I mean, I'm not even like that with my family. I think maybe a lot has to do with like my past and like my trust issues and stuff. But I don't think that has to do. I don't know. I'm just like that with everyone except like,
Okay,
the
so
babies.
so you need to make sure that he knows that you're being affectionate. You don't necessarily have to do it the same way he does, but he needs to know, and that's one thing we talked about, is that if you're doing something, even because she might not kiss you or hug you or anything, but I'm sure there's lots of ways that she shows affection towards you, but you don't see it the same way because you're looking for what you do to her. It's almost like when you go out and you buy a birthday present for someone, there are certain people that buy something that they want and then they give it to someone else, or there are certain people that go out and think about what the other person would want. You have to think in the other person's realm when it comes to relationships, because they're not going to do it the way you want that you do it, but they still do it. Right? You two wouldn't be together right now if she didn't show you any affection.
Oh, yeah. That's why I said she shows me. She does have her way of showing it.
Right.
She does. It's not like I'm always showing it. So,
Right.
Like I'm always 24/7.
Mhm.
Not 24/7 because obviously I'm at work, but like I'm always like when I'm with her, when I come home. Sometimes it bothers me when she doesn't come like running up to me when I get home. It does.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie.
But
It
you know
does,
what? You know what's a really sad thing is that if you stop, if one day you just say, all right, I'm done, I'm gonna stop doing that, that's gonna really upset you.
Yeah,
Even though you're not an affectionate person, you don't like affection,
I like it.
you like that he shows you all that affection.
I do.
So you need to figure out how to show it back to him in a certain way, because you never want him to stop doing that. And that's sort of what happens with couples after once in a while. It's like you make all these efforts and the other person doesn't receive it, doesn't appreciate it. You slowly, systematically stop doing things. And you stop being who you are. And you never want to stop being an individual in a relationship. Always, 100%. You're you first, then you're a couple, then your parents. The example I give for that all the time is that whole mask that they talk about in the airplane, like who's really gonna grab the mask, but what do they always say?
Put it on first.
Put it on you?
Sure.
Why do they say that?
Because you have to take care of you first before you take care of anybody else.
Right, there's no way that you're gonna take care of your child if you're not breathing. You need to be breathing in order to get your child help, right? We don't see it that way though. We rush to be parents first. And sometimes we need to take a step back and be like, okay, I need to be me, and then I need to be a couple, because that's how the kids got here in the first place. And then we need to be parents.
So
But
what do you do if you feel like guilty for being you? Like sometimes like I want to go and get my nails done or do like the things I used to like, but then I feel guilty doing them.
I know.
Yeah, like
So how do you get over that?
I just tell her go,
Yeah.
go.
Right.
He's like, just get it done. You don't
That's
really
when you
do
need
this
to be
on a
strong,
regular
right?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I tell her, she tells me, I want to get my hair done, I want to get my nails done, stuff like that. I tell her, just go. You deserve it, just go. I pamper myself. I get my hair cut. You know, I get my manicures too. But as much as I get it done, I want her to get it done as well, so she
Right.
can feel appreciated because she deserves it. I mean,
Right, she does.
may not get, you know, a plaque or a trophy, but the littlest things, you know, makes her happy. You know,
Right.
the only concern is like going back with the affection. You know, I show her all the affection, but it's like if I go like this, why are you touching me? You know? She has her moment. You know? I'm like, all right, I got cooties, okay, I won't touch you then. You know, but you know, there's times that we fix it, but it's just that's where the issue is kind of complex.
Right.
You know, but I mean, I tell her go.
How do you show affection?
You know what? After the baby, I haven't been as affectionate. I haven't. I'm all about the baby, getting everything done with the house, with us, everything that I tend to forget to be affectionate to him. And that's where we kind of lack a little bit now since the baby's been born. Before,
Okay.
I used to write little notes, give him little presents, surprise him at home, little, you know, whatever he likes, chocolate cakes and stuff like that. I used to just make him those little cupcakes.
How much time did you two have before you had? Were you two together before you had kids?
Well, we known each other about 4 years before we got
Okay.
together, and I was the one that was chasing after her, like
Okay.
chasing after
You
her.
you still are.
Still chasing after her.
You're still chasing after her.
And you know, we connected, and you know,
Just like,
yeah, probably like a year and a half after. Because after like we started dating, maybe a couple months, almost a year. But at that time, she was pregnant, and we had lost the baby at 5 months.
Right.
So we just started living together. I mean, we started living together because at that moment, you know, that kind of made us stronger.
Right.
You know, and we've just been together ever since. So we've been together. We've known each other already for going like what, 8, 9 years now.
Right. And it's hard. It's hard when you have that established relationship, and then all of a sudden you become parents, and
No, I mean, yeah. I
It
mean,
just
the baby
vanishes.
is always going to change. It's always going
Right.
to change you. You know, it's always going to change the relationship that you have as a person. But I don't feel like it should ever die down to the limit where it's nothing.
I agree.
I just feel like it should minimize to a level, but you know, you got to try to bring that level back up, because if not, we both lose interest in each other.
Yeah. So you have some work to do. At least once a week, you need to show your man there that you love him. Once a week. Okay. Maybe once a day. Who knows?
I'll be happy if she just sits down and watches a game with me. I'll be
Oh.
excited. I'll be
That's
ecstatic.
another thing. Thank you for reminding me. He's okay. I don't. You know, people that are like obsessed with a certain thing. Like he's beyond obsessed with sports, and sometimes when it's okay after we put the baby to sleep and we're like in our room or whatever, the TV's on to sports, and he's just concentrated either on that or online researching more sports. So it's like, it's so frustrating now that I'm like, before I was okay with the sport thing, and now it's like I'm over it. So I get cranky and I'm like, I just want to go to sleep. Like, so how can I show him affection if everything is about sports?
Okay, so you guys missed the first part.
Oh.
So I'm going to tell you this: one night a week, you need to have couple time. No TV, no phones, couple time, no sports. One night a week.
That sounds like, you know, it's funny because like when, you know, like any couple, we've had problems in the past, you know, leading up to where we're at now. And we've discussed that before, like, oh, you know, maybe we need to have, we kind of tend to talk a lot, and then sometimes we don't do it. We'll say, oh, every night by this time we need to,
No.
you know, and it doesn't
Not
never
every
works
night.
out like that, you
No.
know what I mean? And then it ends up never working out at all. So I guess starting off little by little.
No, you know, I just wrote an article about goals and the Parkland, in the Parkland Coral Springs Life every month, and And those resolutions just irritate me. Because what people do is, like you said, every night, well, that's just unrealistic. Small. Usually goals, what people make, are multiple goals at once. You need to break your goals down into itsy bitsy tiny, because the only reason you make goals is so you can accomplish them, so you can make more. If you overextend your goals, then you're just always feeling bad. You know, you're disappointed. And especially in your relationship with where you are right now with an 8-month-old, you don't ever want to feel disappointed in each other. 1 night a week. That's it. Therapy. Talk about your life. It is so hard for parents to not talk about their kids. How do you guys do it? How do you have a conversation without talking and bringing up your kids?
I think I probably talk about them a lot more than you do.
Yeah, I could talk about other subjects.
Yeah.
But you guys go out. Do you?
Yeah, we talk about work a lot, like his work, you know, I think can help with that. We talk about, what are we talking about? We talk. We talk. We've had a lot of things in the last few years. Both of his parents got sick, and then they both passed, and we had that to deal with. You know,
Right.
We've had a lot of things always to talk about.
Right. If you need cues, then come up with topics. You know, have one person be the role model and like look up something and say, hey, let's talk about this. You know, you could even look up quarterback stats. And that, I know, but you know what? That's what your man likes. You know what? And that is showing affection by being interested in what someone else likes.
I do that sometimes though. You're like, where did you find that out?
You know?
Yeah, she freaks me out sometimes. Like, where'd you hear that from? She's like, oh, tonight.
But that was just a little example. But I mean, there's tons of information out there. And there's tons of topics to talk about that don't revolve around children. And sometimes what I suggest to people is to even have a code word when you start getting into a conversation you want to get to. Somebody has to notice that, because you can be like having this great date night, and then all of a sudden you're talking about your kids again, and then it leads to this, and then it leads to that, and all of a sudden you're arguing, and then the whole day night is basically ruined because you're back where you started from. So communicate, be supportive, and communicate. That's it. Couples don't talk. Like, couples talk about their kids, but couples don't talk. So you need to talk about things that you both are interested in.
And it's funny because that's what like got us here. Like in the beginning, we always, you always talk.
You do.
You always come up with things to talk about. We used to be on the phone for like 3 hours nonstop talking.
Right?
Just go.
Now you just have nothing to say to each other. You're just annoyed all the time. Oh. You know, it does get easier. It does get easier. But you can't wait until it gets easier to fix what's going on, because there's always going to be more. And it concerns me when couples wait. Well, you know, like, okay, when they start sleeping through the night, then we'll do something. Okay, well, when they start crawling, then we'll do something. Okay, well, blah blah blah. It's okay. Then they're in college, and you're like, all right, well, we don't have a relationship. What happened? You know, if you were just parents, when those kids aren't there anymore, especially when they're doing activities and they don't want to be around you anymore. And yeah, all right, I hope that never happens, but it will. It will. You know, you need to have something to talk to your partner about. You know, so you got to practice when they're young, right? Okay. I just want to tell you guys about something that I'm starting, and it's called therapy parties. And it's basically having a party in your house and having me there and inviting your friends over and basically doing group therapy in your house. And I'm offering free therapy parties for you guys because you guys came tonight. So, and I also need pictures for my website. So I need models, but basically all it is, you know, it would be group therapy, but you invite your close friends over and I'd come to your house and give a talk like this. So I'll do it whenever you guys want. I gave you guys, but this is the therapy party card. And that's my regular card. The rest of the seminar is going to be on my website. So you guys need to watch the first part.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay? Okay, and if anyone has any other questions, let me know. Okay? I'm very accessible.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it.